amounted to 15.7 trillion naira by the end of December 2018.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offence.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikule Amosu.
To 15.7 trillion naira by the end of December 2018.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offence.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikule Amosu.
Welcome to the news desk on Celebration TV. I am Sherry Quincy Brahma, and here are the news making the top stories for today. Senate passes petroleum industry bill. South Africa court clears Ramaphosa of misleading parliament. Heatwave record village overwhelmingly burned in wildfire. All experts list benefits as National Assembly breaks 12-year jinx, passes PIB. Djokovic eyes 75th Wimbledon win. Just stay with us after this short break. I'll bring you the news in full. Do not go nowhere. Welcome back now to the news in full. Senate passes petroleum industry bill. The Senate has passed the long-awaited petroleum industry bill. This followed approval of recommendations of the report of the Senate Joint Committee on Petroleum Downstream and Upstream, and also Gas at plenary. Presenting the report's chairman of the committee, Senator Muhammad Sabo, says the bill consisted of 5 distinct and logically connected chapters. Sabo listed the chapters to include the governance and institutions, administrations, host communities development, petroleum industry fiscal framework, and miscellaneous provisions comprising 319 clauses and 8 schedules. He says the committee carried out its assignment effectively and conducted a public hearing to collate inputs from critical stakeholders and the Nigerian people. Sabo says the committee reviewed the bill and all the memoranda submitted by the stakeholders during the public hearing, adding that the committee also embarked on on-the-spot assessments of impacted oil exploration communities. And now moving forward from that news, Nigeria faults the European Union's rejection, says decision was political. The director of the African Center for Disease Control, Dr. John Nkengasong, and the African Union Special Envoy on COVID-19, Mr. Strive Masliwa, says the African Union, the federal government, and COVAX, and a coalition consisting of the World Health Organization, Gavi, and Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, expresses surprise about the European Union's decision not to accept AstraZeneca vaccine manufactured in India. Also, COVAX, consisting of the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, the WHO, and the United Nations Children's Fund, lamented that the EU's move is already undermining confidence in life-saving vaccines that were safe and effective. On its part, the federal government described the EU's decision as political. Recall that the European Union says that only those with the European Union digital COVID-19 certificate, which enabled people who had received 2 doses of a vaccine approved by its medicine regulator, the European Medicines Agency, would be able to travel freely within the bloc. But the pass only recognizes AstraZeneca doses made by EMA-approved manufacturers in Europe, the United States, South Korea, and China. not those manufactured by the world's largest vaccine manufacturer, the Serum Institute of India, branded Covishield. In another development, Church Outside Crusaders CDO releases new song Protocol Breaker today. Our correspondent has the rest of the news. Please listen.
Church Outside Crusader and gospel recording artist CDO announces his next single and music video, Protocol Breaker, set for premiere today, July 2nd, 2021. This will mark the first new music from Nigerian singer and businessman after his successful Wonder single featuring Femi Clef, which dropped in September 2020 and was well received with great acclaim. CDO ended the year 2020 remarkably with the loudest praise party in December. The unconventional event hosted Africa's finest indigenous and urban contemporary gospel artists such as Mike Abdul, Testimony Jaga, Prophetic, Ilasheva, Kela Thrills, Winter Amadin, BC Moore, and others who invaded the Lagos nightlife lounge with the Kingdom. Speaking about the forthcoming release, CDO says Protocol Breaker is a song that captures the immutability of God's love towards man. With the singer enjoying so much success so far, he is set to impact the music scene yet again with a new single. Belly Squatter, reporting for Celebration TV News Desk.
And that was the Gospeltainment news. And our news coming from around Africa. South Africa court declares Ramaphosa of misleading parliament. South Africa's top court declared President Cyril Ramaphosa of lying to parliament about a donation to his 2017 election campaign, quashing a critical report by the country's known ombudswoman known in South Africa as the Public Protector. Busisiwe Makambe in 2019 determined that Ramaphosa had deliberately misled the National Assembly in his answer to a question posed by an opposition lawmaker the previous year. She also says there was evidence of money laundering, conflict of interest, and personal enrichment, prompting the president to challenge the legality of her report. The High Court dismissed the report last year and the Constitutional Court upheld that decision. Justice Chris Jafter says the Public Protector was wrong on the facts and on the law with regard to the issue that the president had willfully misled Parliament. Jafter also says there was no evidence to support money laundering allegations or to show the president had personally benefited from campaign donations. He added that investigations into the private affairs of political parties were outside Makwambe's jurisdiction. The allegations date back to November 2018 when the leader of the main opposition Democratic Alliance Party, Musi Maiman, asked Ramaphosa to clarify a 500,000 rand payment to his son from the head of South African company named African Global Operations. Ramaphosa explained his son, Andile Ramaphosa, had carried out paid work for the company. A news still coming from around Africa, partial lockdown in Tunis as COVID-19 cases reach record high. Partial lockdown in Tunis capital is a decision taken by the Tunisian authorities on June 20th as over the past month, the number of coronavirus infections and related deaths in North African countries has reached record levels, its highest daily rate since the onset of COVID-19 pandemic. 4 regions in the nation's interior, the governorates of Beja, Siliana, Zouan, and Kairouan are particularly affected by the health crisis and will hence be on full lockdown. Some coronavirus patients have transferred from beds to wheelchairs as Tunisian hospitals struggle with an influx of new cases and staff shortages. This intense pressure persists despite the setup of a military care facility with beds, monitoring equipment, and ventilators on the outskirts of Tunis. Many health workers state that the lack of staff is the real need, but even accepting volunteers from the general public is tricky as the level of immunization is not easily determined. Tunisia is already negatively impacted tourism sector, which the North African nation has been hopeful of reviving towards the growth of its pandemic hard-hit economy, as once again feeling the effects of the current state of health affairs in light of the surge in cases and consequential coronavirus prevention restrictions. Gatherings such as collective prayers, public celebrations, sporting and cultural events are prohibited until July 14th in the 4 regions of Greater Tunis, as well as in the seaside cities of Sousse and Monastir. Right now, we'll take a short break. When I get back from that break, I'll bring you updates from Canada. Do stay with us.
Ignites the flame for unbridled unction, sets the pace for uncommon impact. Get ready for a moment of change to protect your identity in International Youth Conference 2021. Theme: purpose, passion, and power. Ministry: Pastor Courage Imolere.
Powers that has vowed that you will always beg before you seek favor. Powers that has vowed that you will always beg before you seek lifting. After now, that yoke shall be broken.
Reverend John Asia.
The enemy takes advantage of our unbridled tongue. You are talking, be careful. You know, we look for trouble by ourselves, by too many information that we release out of our mouth.
Apostle Professor Johnson and Dr. Lizzie Suleiman.
A battle of service. Our youths these days, this generation, God will help us. Who will feel your impact? Who will feel your impact if you even choose to leave this place now? The battle of service is a battle that is confronting the youth today.
Nothing severes you from entanglement like addiction to God's word. Your addiction to God's word is your severance and your cure.
Date 6th through 9th July 2021, happening at the International Worship Center, Omega Fire Ministries, Kilometer 132, Benin Okene, Abuja Expressway, Auchi, Edo State, Nigeria. The time is 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. GMT+1. For inquiries, please call. It's time to break bounds.
Welcome back. Now it's news update from Canada. Heatwave record village overwhelmingly burned in wildfire. The local MP says a wildfire has burned 90% of the village that recorded Canada's highest ever temperature. Bradvis says the fire had caused extensive damage to Lytton in British Columbia and also to surrounding critical infrastructure. Jan Polderman, mayor of Lytton, says he is lucky to get out alive and there won't be much left of Lytton because there is fire everywhere. Experts says that climate change is expected to increase the frequency of extreme weather events such as heat waves. However, linking any single event to global warming is complicated. Lytton this week recorded the country's highest ever temperature of 121.3 Fahrenheit, and abnormally high temperatures have been recorded in swaths of North America. British Columbia and Western Canada recorded 486 deaths over 5 days compared with an average of 165 in normal times. And now more updates from Australia. Australia to halve arrivals and trial home quarantine. Australia will have the number of international arrivals it accepts after COVID outbreaks puts half the population in lockdown this week. The country's strict border rules have only allowed Australians and people with exemptions to enter. From the 14th of July, Australia will accept just over 3,000 people a week. This is a measure that will likely last until next year. Prime Minister Scott Morrison says the cuts would reduce pressure on the quarantine system. The virus leaks from hotel quarantine, which is mandatory for all arrivals. It has been the source of numerous outbreaks across the country. To mitigate some of the cuts, Mr. Morrison says the number of repatriation flights from Australians wanting to fly home would be increased. It will also begin trailing home quarantine arrangements for vaccinated travelers. Mr. Morrison indicates that arrival limits would not be lifted again until most Australians have been vaccinated, a goal that won't be achieved until next year. The new rule comes after outbreaks of highly infectious Delta variants plunged 7 cities, including Sydney, Brisbane and Perth, into lockdown over the past week. The country has recorded about 250 cases, with most tied to cluster in Sydney, its largest city. Sydney's 5 million residents are under a stay-at-home order until 9th of July. Now on business news. Oil export list benefits as National Assembly breaks 12-year jinx, passes PIB. The Senate passed the Petroleum Industry Bill and approved the 3% of profit made by oil firms should be shared to host communities. The upper chamber passed the PIB 2021 after the clause-by-clause consideration of the report of its Joint Committee on Petroleum, the Upstream, Downstream and Gas on PIB. Lawmakers from the South-South geopolitical zone, however, protested against the 3% approved for the host communities and called for 5%. The Senate had before then held a closed session with the Minister of State for Petroleum, Timmy Praise Silva, and the Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Mele Kyari. The Senate also approved that 30% of profits occurring from oil and gas operations by the Nigerian Petroleum Corporation would be set aside for exploration of oil in the Frontier Basin. The proposed law stipulated an oil exploration of frontier basins would fall under the purview of the Upstream Regulatory Commission. It also clarified that the 3% from the oil firms' profits would be reserved for the development of host communities. And still on business news, stock market falls slightly as 14 firms record losses. The all-share index of the Nigerian Exchange Limited fell by 0.02% to 37,898.56 basis points at the end of trading as 14 companies recorded losses. The market capitalization of equities dropped by 4.55 billion naira to close the day at 19.76 trillion naira as 205.45 million shares were traded in 3,563 deals, a 3.9% decline compared to the previous day's 220.70 million shares in 3,522 deals. 20 companies recorded gains led by Triple G and Company PLC, which saw a 10% increase in its share price to close at 0.77 naira. Another top gainers were Ikeja Hotel PLC, CWG PLC, Wema Bank PLC, and Learn Africa PLC. 14 companies saw declines in their share prices at the end of trading off the floor of the NGX, led by Royal Exchange PLC with a 9.84% loss. It was followed by Oando PLC, Mutual Benefits Assurance PLC, and Regency Alliance Insurance Company PLC. The Guarantee Trust Holding Company was the most traded stock by volume and value at 41.84 million shares and 1.25 billion naira respectively. Right now, we'll take a short break. When we get back from that break, it'll be news from the world of sports. Do stay with us.
Hello, have you been searching for an appropriate platform to advertise and promote your product and services? Are you a minister of the gospel and you want your message to spread across the globe? Stop this search. We've got the coverage to give your voice and ministry the amplification you require. To get a rewarding and cost-effective solution to that business idea of yours, Celebration TV is here to take your dream to the climax. We provide the following services: voiceover production, documentary packages, video production of your event, video editing, script writing, affordable live broadcast of your events, and more. For more information, please contact us on +234 703 341 3637 or +234 816 234 8181. You can also reach us via our social media platform: Facebook Celebration TV, Instagram My Celebration TV, Twitter us at My Celebration TV, YouTube Celebration TV. And you can send us a mail on celebrationtelevision@gmail.com.
Welcome back, and now it's sports news. Djokovic eyes 75th Wimbledon win. World number 1 Novak Djokovic can win his 75th career match at Wimbledon on Friday when he takes on American qualifier Denis Kudla for a place in the last 16. The 5-time champion, who is chasing a record equaling 20th Grand Slam title, will be wary of Kudla despite his modest ranking of 114. Kudla made his 4th round in 2015, where it took former U.S. Open champion Marin Cilic to stop him, while he also has 4 quarterfinals at grass court events to his name. Djokovic will also be aware that the last time he fell to the American in the 3rd round was in 2016 when Sam Querrey shattered his bid to win the 3rd leg of a calendar Grand Slam. Kudla, who was born in Ukraine but moved to the United States with his parents on his first birthday, defeated Spanish 30th seed Alejandro in the 1st round. He then accounted for Italian veteran Andrea Seppi. Djokovic made the 3rd round for the 15th time at Wimbledon with a straight set win over Kevin Anderson. He didn't face a single break point and committed just 6 unforced errors. And now in another sports story, Brume eyes podium finish in Tokyo. Nigerian long jumper S.A. Brume hopes to end up on the podium at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, which starts this month in Japan. Speaking with our correspondent, Brume, who recently broke the 25th year African record set by Chioma Ajunwa at the 1996 Atlanta Olympics, says after breaking the record, she wanted to win a medal at the Games. Brume says her training tour to the United States, where she broke the African record, was a big advantage for her, as it helped her in her preparations for the Olympics, having been limited to a few competitions due to COVID-19. The training tour was so effective. She says she surpassed her PB. She broke the African record and also have the world lead at the moment. Brume says it was an awesome trip, and by the grace of God, they are praying that it gets better. And also, she says she drew inspirations from Ajunwa, saying the gold medalist's congratulatory messages motivated her. And we have come to the end of the news on Celebration TV News Desk. In case you missed the top stories, here is a rerun of the headlines. Senate passes petroleum industry bill. South Africa court clears Ramaphosa of misleading parliament. HEATWAVE record village overwhelmingly burned in wildfire. oil exports list benefits as National Assembly breaks 12-year jinx, passes the PIB. Djokovic eyes 7th to 5th Wimbledon win. And now we are down to the photo of the day. That photo clearly speaks about knowledge. And we all know that knowledge is key. Knowledge properly used is key. The right knowledge gives you an edge and a position in a circle that you may not have originally fit in. So go for knowledge. You can share your thoughts about that photo of the day via our social media platforms on Facebook, Celebration TV, on Instagram, My Celebration TV, on Twitter at My Celebration TV, on YouTube, Celebration TV. Always bear in mind that your positive contribution to the awareness of the society you find yourself or the organization you work in defines your leadership might. As an individual who knows what to do and do without expecting to be pushed has backed his way to success, be it known today that everything we do, everything we think, everything we feel and believe either has a positive or negative effect on humanity and our national well-being. Do well to be a part of nation building today. I am Sherry Quinsley Byron, and thank you for staying tuned on the news desk. Goodbye.
To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offence.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor Ibikunle Amosun